So when a person is doing that, you can't hate or abhor because you're going to hate the whole race.
Right.
Y'all need to look at the John Browns. Them type of individuals say, we know you Israel. If y'all ever watched the movie John Brown, his son run off from a couple of Israelites because some Klansmen was handling him. He said, you run off from God. He slapped fire from his jaw. Boy, do you know what you did? You could at least try to talk him out of it. You run off. I'm talking about one of them good ones where it felt like 1,000 bumblebees and stuff. Just stinking. Yeah, Papa. Hey, where we at? Go ahead, Sid.
So when they speak of neighbor, that's those who can keep the commandments. So it's a person who is not keeping the commandments and you have the perfect hatred. You don't have to believe in them.
If a Klansman's living next door to you, that's not your neighbor. Because he intends to hurt to you. See, and you have to be on guard that you got to make sure that you don't go over there and cast your pearls before swine and trying to convince him. Because next, he going to hate it. You have to understand the crosses were never burned in white Jews' yards. They were burned in yours, and it's a cross. They'll let you know. We still feel the same way. That can't never be your neighbor because they got perfect hatred. It's showing you, I like to do you like you did your Messiah. You can't deal with that. That's not your neighbor. Ain't no need going over there with no pumpkin. Instead of a sweet potato, you like, well, maybe a pumpkin up. Bring it in. No. You understand what I'm saying? So your neighbor was anybody that keeps the commandments of the Most High is your neighbor. And that's when like you see in church today, they say, look to your left and say, neighbor. How you going to look to your left and say, neighbor, when they say there ain't no more law to keep?
Right.
So what love you got for this person? How is this a neighbor? This is Sodom and Gomorrah neighborhood. Cause anything goes. What you got back there? You had something back there. Bro, you. Go ahead. Right? Right. Well, what's not making sense to you is you still haven't did the word what's called forgive. See, we're not telling you you have to be in the same space with this individual. Do you forgive them? If they admit they're wrong. If they say, brother, the doctrine I was brought up in, my grandpappy taught my pappy that. My pappy taught me that. So that's all I knew. I learned that from the womb that y'all was monkeys. I don't believe that no more. This is spiritual, not flesh. He said, I don't believe that no more. And I'm asking you to forgive me and my forefathers for what we did, because you have to understand, they didn't come get us because they were just sitting around and say, you know what? Let's go get us some slaves. No, we broke the commandments of our God. We wouldn't obey him in his kingdom. So he said, I tell you what, I'm worse to more people that since you think you got a bad period, I'll let you experience that. That's why when we pray, we have to pray for the sins of our forefathers and for our own. We have to acknowledge why we're here. Right. They didn't cause us to be here. We did that. We went against his commandment in his land. The land that was given to us. We didn't do that nowhere else. That was at home. We was clowning like this. Hard. We would let a Klansman come in and set up swat stickers in the Holy Land.
Right. We did that.
Look, long as you know you don't mess with my family, but them homo Hebrews over there, whatever y'all get into, that's on y'all. In the Holy Land, just for some paper, for this, and I ain't talking about boogers. Yeah. So, bro, I understand what you're saying. We're not telling you that it has to be kumbaya. But the fact remains that if what happens to him, what happened to the thief on the cross, you're going to have a problem if you want to be in that kingdom, because if he's there, going to amend his wrong to you. It ain't about you. It's about if he goes to the Most High first and then to you. He still have to follow the orders. If he going to do this thing for you to forgive him, he has to do it according to the script. If he come, he say, I've wronged you. I broke this commandment. I'm a thief. I stole from you, and I knew that was your car note money. You told me them folks was coming with the trouble, and I did it anyway. To satisfy my lust, I did that, but I apologize, man. And as soon as I get paid, I'm going to restore that sevenfold. So we're going to get a couple scriptures for you to understand that if anybody steals from you along them circles, whatever the crime may be. Because the problem is, how many times do you go to the Most High to ask forgiveness for your sins per day? Yeah. What's a lot? You ordered a certain number. What is the number of order? And I'm not asking you because I'm not trying to put you on Front Street. I'm just saying when you say a lot, what is, I'm just thinking, a lot is good. Don't get me wrong. You can do it from sun up to sundown. But there's a required amount. 3 times a day. Morning, noon, and night. And if you go into him about sinning, then there's something you're doing wrong against him. So if he don't look at you like how you do, I just don't want him around me. Yeah, he asks for forgiveness, but he keep looking at the rear end of such and such as woman. His eyes won't stay in his head. But yet he come to me tomorrow and say, I'm sorry again. But every time she come around, your eyes do like a cartoon. Ooh. I mean, if you expecting that forgiveness and saying, one day I'm going to get my eyes together so that I can dwell in the kingdom. If this bruh comes to him like that, then he has to let go. If you retain a sin, and you can do that, you can hold in your heart, I will never be around you. But you don't control all of America, so if he shows up at the same sandwich shop you do, or the same restaurant, what do? Get up and leave? Do you? I'm just asking. Yeah, I can't believe why people. And you took one bite, and you're going to get up and storm out. St. Louis is small. You're going to be storming out everywhere. Pretty soon, you keep running off and leaving food, you're going to be hanging on the drawers like this. So you're going to get some weight loss. Is that so? Y'all, it's more than keeping it on the flesh level. But I understand what you're saying perfectly, bro. But that's why we went to the Psalm 139, so you may understand what perfect hatred is. We do what's called hate. We get up in the morning thinking about it and just chug a gallon of haterade. I did not see that nigga nowhere. I did not see him because I've been having some things on my mind. Look, we do it now. You can start an argument and you lose it and you bow out, and then 10 minutes later, the devil whispered to you, if you had told her about when she left that door open, you could have got it. And now you're waiting on an opportunity to start the argument. Looking for a reason to get it going again. That's the problem. What you got back there, Sid?
I want to know, what about confronting?
The what?
Confronting a person for their wrongdoing.
We're going to get right into the scriptures.
Okay.
And we're going to let the Lord speak of that. We're going to get right into that right after we read this. We just want to get into understanding B because it talks about your neighbor first. Look, if we can't get along with each other, where are we going to go together? You see my children, but that inner beef is right there. You will let him get in danger. Yeah, let him get on that ninja. He's supposed to get kitty legs. I don't see it. Lord, let's read, y'all. Where we at?
We at Sirach, Ecclesiastes chapter 28, verse 3.
Right.
One man buried hatred against another, and doth he seek pardon from the Lord?
See, it's asking you, does one man got to be with somebody and you coming to the Lord and saying, look, Lord, I need you to forgive me about that. If the Lord do this, I ain't got time for that whining again. You said you were going to quit drinking the last time. You said you were going to quit smoking. You said you're going to quit touching last time. Tired of you. What you going to do? That happened to Saul. The Lord didn't answer him no more. do? Next thing, he went to a soothsayer. And that's what's going to happen if you not understanding from the word. You're going to see somebody else that agree. I hate that nigga too. You what I've been looking for.
Right.
A person that hates like me. Well, that's what y'all will end up hating each other. Go ahead, where we at?
Verse 4.
What it say?
He showed no mercy to a man.
He knew what?
He showed no mercy to a man.
See, the key word is mercy. And the mercy would be if there is a chance, just an inkling, this person could change his life around. The only way you know that that ain't is if he's got a reprobate mind or he's telling you, look, I know why you don't like me. It's that Bible and that BS is what got you hating me and this and that. Well, you know already this is a hater of God. Then you definitely stay away from them. But if they're saying, brother, I'm asking you, I ain't got to be around you. I'm just asking if you see me in public, wherever it at, you don't have a stroke mouth looking at me. In an aisle and everybody look, oh, it must be beef. It must be beef. Yeah. It's beef. Yeah. Look how he's scowling at me. Go ahead. Where we at?
I said we at verse 4 still. He showed no mercy to a man which is like himself.
It's like what?
Which is like himself.
See, and when we're talking about like himself, that's a sinner. If you were not like him, then you would be the Messiah without sin. But if you're going 3 times a day, like you say, brother, many times a day, if it's about the same thing, it says then it starts to get into the remain no more sacrifice for sin. So if you're going many a time, you got to ask yourself, what do I keep saying I'm sorry about? Right. What is it I can't shake? And you asking the Lord to let me off the hook, but then this man here, you like, well, I can't let him off the hook. You think what he did to you is worse than what you're doing to the Messiah? You shame the Messiah like that with what you was doing in public. The way you was throwing dead presidents up in the air and smiling like the Joker. Who was there doing that? You know where you know. Where we at?
Verse 4 still. He showed no mercy to a man which is like himself. And doth he ask forgiveness of his own sins?
See, the key word is sins. If you ain't sinning and you feel this way about this person, then this ain't applying to you at all. It